YouTube, what's going on out there? This is Nick, and today's topic that I'd like to talk about is addictions, specifically alcohol addiction and drug addiction. Now, I know that I come from a family of alcoholics, and I have family members who have had issues with drugs and drug addiction, to include my younger brother. And I know firsthand by seeing how alcoholism and addiction and how drug addiction can really affect your family. And it's hard, it's not easy. I love my brother, I love him dearly. And right now, he's thriving. He is doing so well, and I am so incredibly proud of him. But it took him over 40 years to choose himself. When he finally chose himself, and committed to programs and committed to recovery and committed to sober living, it's like he's like a whole new person. I've never seen this kind of a turnaround or transition for him, even with all the past recovery, addiction meetings he had gone to, or sober living houses he was in, or halfway houses that he was in. You know, this time I actually see a major change in him. It's in his voice, it's in his spirit, it's in his well-being. He looks healthy, he's acting healthy, he's maintaining his sobriety, which he has had enormous trouble with his whole life. So to see him finally be at a place where he's at peace with himself and he's bettering himself and doing well for himself, I can't tell you how happy that makes me and how proud of him that I am. And you know what? I hope to God he watches this. Okay? With that being said, I will say this. It wasn't that long ago I had to have a conversation with my parents. And it wasn't an easy conversation to have. I actually had to tell them, you guys might have to get yourself mentally prepared to bury him. And when I had that conversation with them, and talking to them about that, I teared up, I cried throughout the conversation, but it was a conversation that had to be had. And, my parents did everything they could for him, everything, tens of thousands of dollars spent trying to help him. And in the end, it took him choosing himself. It took him literally being homeless and choosing himself before he finally said, this is it. I don't know how I'm still alive, but I don't want to die, and I don't want this life anymore. And in that moment, he chose himself. He chose faith, he chose family, and he chose himself. He is doing so incredibly well. I'm so incredibly proud of him. I can't stress that or say that enough. So, I've also had cousins and aunts and uncles who are alcoholics, and some who, had drug addiction issues as well. So I've seen firsthand how that can affect a family, okay? Now, there's somebody else I know extremely well. She is an amazing woman, and this woman was at rock bottom a few years back. And I didn't know this woman until she had already chosen sobriety and chosen herself and became sober. But with that being said, this woman has started recovery meetings. This woman has started programs for women. This woman has started her own business, works in the medical field. She is thriving. And I am so incredibly proud of her. I'm so incredibly proud of her accomplishments. And, I don't think that there's enough good that I can say about her. But I've had serious conversations with her about her sobriety and what it means to her and, what it means to her family. And you know what? If you were to meet this woman in public, you would never in a million years have ever thought she had any issues with alcohol addiction. You wouldn't, okay? So another thing that I want to kind of jump on as well is being in a relationship with somebody who has drug addiction, alcohol addiction, or both. It's not easy. And you know what? A lot of times an addict will lose family and friends and relationships because of their addiction. Okay? But if you're actually in a relationship with somebody who is committed to cleaning themselves up and is proving themselves to you, you just have to be a pillar of support. You have to let them know that they can come to you, that you can count on them, that instead of touching that drug, come talk to me. Instead of touching that alcohol or beer, come talk to me. And you know what? Sometimes that in and of itself, gives them something to believe in, even more than just believing in themselves, because now they have people believing in them as well. And, I'll tell you right now, if I were in a relationship with somebody who was a recovering alcoholic, and they'll tell you, my friends told me numerous times, every day I'm recovering. I'm not healed. That's not how that works. But you know what? If I were in a relationship with somebody that was an alcoholic, I wouldn't have alcohol, beer, wine in my place. I just wouldn't. Because I respect them and I respect their sobriety. And if I loved them and respected them, then doing everything I could to help them maintain that sobriety should be something that I value and should be something that I put first in my life as well. I don't have to drink. There's times I go months and months and months without drinking. It doesn't make me better than anybody. But what I will say is this: I don't have to drink to have a good time. So if I were in a relationship with somebody who was having issues with alcohol, I would have no problem pouring everything down the drain and throwing it all out. And at the end of the day, that's because I want that person to know that I love them, I respect them, I love their choices, I respect their choices, and that I'm in it with them. And if we're in it together, then we can be that much stronger. So I understand both ends of the spectrum. Sometimes somebody's not choosing themselves and isn't choosing sobriety, and it makes you have to walk away. I get that. I understand that. I've seen that. I've been part of that. But if you do have somebody committed to cleaning themselves up, don't fail them. Okay? And I know that sounds kind of weird because, you're like, fail them? What do you mean? I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a way of be a positive influence in their life. Be somebody of strong character in their life. Stay in their life. Help them. Let them know you're there and you'll be there as long as they're staying on this road to recovery and maintain it. But that also means changes in your life. Now, does that mean you don't have to drink the rest of your life because whatnot? No, that's not what that means. But, if you are going to be in a relationship with somebody, you should respect them enough to, keep things that could trigger them or trigger their mind or trigger their addiction out of their sight and out of their presence. That's just doing the right thing by somebody. That's loving somebody. That's showing somebody how important they are to you. With that being said, I hope that this has helped somebody, and if it has, please let me know. If you know somebody who is having problems with drug or alcohol, please be there for them. Please support them. Please send them this. Let them know that there's strength out there, but it starts with their inner strength first. Always, first and foremost, it starts with them. And when they're ready to choose themselves, the sky is the limit. The sky is the absolute limit. And the sky is infinite. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know. Thank you.